I've been covering India-Pakistan games for so long. I've been in so many that I can't even remember how many I've been to. And there aren't that many India-Pakistan games. And so I've been incredibly lucky to have gone to so many. That one was got to be one of the craziest games I've ever seen. You know, India-Pakistan games in World Cups are kind of dull because we know Pakistan are going to lose. That was not dull. That was anything but dull. Now, of course, all this only happened because New York have put in the most despicable World Cup pitch of all time. I am going to pause just for a moment all the vitriol that I have for this wicket, because on this one occasion, it produced a batshit crazy fun game. And if a couple of players had to get smashed in the gloves and potentially injured for future games for our entertainment, well, we still don't like that. But it was a batshit crazy fun game. So just for a moment, we're going to go, entertainment is more important than your fingers. If you need a VPN, go Nord. Use nordvpn.com/Kimber to get a 2-year contract with a discount, plus 4 extra months, plus gifts in some markets. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the show notes. Protect your computer like a blocker protects the stumps with NordVPN today. India's start in this game. I hope people remember for a long time how important it is on a pitch like this to still put pressure back on the bowlers. Because Rohit tried that and scooped it up in the air. And obviously Virat Kohli tried that and slashed it straight to point. Rishabh Pant was just like, no, we've been told to attack. We've been told to put pressure on. We're going to keep going here. It would have been very easy for him to crab around. He did not crab around. Akshar Patel, when he came out, I was like, well, Akshar Patel's just going to knock the ball around for ones. Akshar was in no mood for knocking the ball around for ones. He was obviously trying to score quicker. He wasn't scoring quicker, but he was trying to score quicker. Looking back, this is where India win the game. Those overs, especially around, the 5th and 6th over mark, when they kept attacking and they kept putting the pressure back on Pakistan, absolutely changed everything for this game. To be 50 after the power play on a wicket where, like, what's par? Is it like 98? If you can get a start like that, even if you have to give away a couple of wickets, I think is great. However, we need to be honest here. Pakistan played an awfully big role in the way that India got off to a flyer. There were drop catches. There were half chances. There was a run out that I still don't understand how Akshar Patel was not run out. It was such a simple chance. Pakistan looked in absolute disarray. And the chair of their disarray has to be Haris Rauf. That over he bowled, where he overpitched, where he bowled down the leg side, where he went for 3 boundaries. 3 fours, actually. Not 3 boundaries. You go for 3 boundaries on this wicket, I think you can say, well, maybe someone just got hold of a couple. They sat in the wicket and they hit some 6s. This is a wicket that generally, up until today, when they clearly cut the grass a little bit shorter, was a lot easier to hit 6s than 4s, right? To go for 3 boundary 4s in a row like Haris Rauf, what on earth was happening? That is a despicable display of idiotic bowling that I did not understand at all. And India were 89 for 3. That's not far off from what I thought par was on a wicket like this, if we're being honest. They were 89 for 3. And then after the drinks break, Haris Rauf comes back on. And I'm still fuming. I'm still so angry about his first over. And his first ball, he bowls down the leg side full. It hits the pads. And he appeals like it is the plumbest thing that has ever happened. It's maybe hitting an 8th or 9th stump. And I'm being optimistic. And when he appealed, Haris Rauf didn't know where he was looking. He was appealing in 4 different directions, none of which were near an umpire. It wasn't even a celebrity appeal like Stuart Broad. He literally had forgotten where the umpire was and he was just yelling, right? And I was watching it going, well, he's lost the plot. Haris Rauf has lost the plot. Now looking back at it, I was like, something happened at that drinks break and he got pumped up. And he decided that he was going to be the difference. And the next ball, there was a wicket. And from that point onwards, they went from 89 to 3 to 119 all out. Now, the wicket started playing worse. The amount of times that an Indian batter would come out and the ball would hit their stickers, it started popping. It started holding. It started bouncing in ways that are really, really unfortunate. But the Indian players were not ready for it and could not handle it, and they fell apart. The best batter in the second part of that innings was Arshdeep Singh. And it's worth mentioning that for many reasons, because he's basically, up until today, he'd only made like 74 runs in his professional T20 career. They inserted him up the order, and then he played a bunch of delightful shots. His forward defensive shot, where he sort of falls over towards the ball, is a thing of beauty. His hook shot that he plays like he's a windscreen wiper on a van, absolutely one of my favorite things ever. And what about when he stood at square leg to face the ball? For no, he didn't even need to do it. What did he think he was getting out of it? It was some of the most balmy batshit batting we have ever seen. But he got India up to 119. Everyone seemed to think, or the vast majority at least, seemed to think that India had no chance of winning. And I couldn't help but remember all the balls that had been bowled in this World Cup on that pitch so far. Who thought 119 with Jasprit Bumrah in your lineup was bad? 119, maybe it was 5 under par, right? Yes, there were times that looked like they could score more, but if you go back and have a look at the control percentage of Rishabh Pant, you'll realize he was just getting away with it, right? That's all that was happening early on. They had already burgled extra runs. Yes, they gave back a few at the end by falling apart, but they were already massively in front of the game. But no one seemed to think that. I thought I was in, a bizarre world, and then that first over happened. And to be honest, even for a moment there, I was thinking to myself, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, who starts a T20 innings with dueling threes? Babar Azam had a strike rate of 300 after one ball. He must have got a nosebleed with such a scoring rate. And they pulled it back a little bit. But India also dropped 2 catches. The one to Shivam Dubé, that's not good. That was a very, very simple chance, and he certainly should have taken that. And then there was the caught ball from Mohammad Siraj, which was much harder, way harder. But it could have rebounded anywhere, including to another fielder, and didn't. So they put themselves in a good position, and then Jasprit Bumrah came on, and he bowled a fantastic delivery, a test match delivery coming in. And you can see Babar Azam thinking, I need to play this, and then suddenly thinking, it's too close to me, I don't know what to do, and he tries to pull his bat away and ends up being caught at slip. Ridiculous. That's how you get one of the world's best batters out, with a ball that good. Absolutely fantastic. The problem was, because of the fast start of Pakistan and the couple of drops, they were so on top, but they didn't actually push forward. Every now and again, they would play a big shot and hit a boundary. But it was so rare, and there were so many dots around it, that it meant that at the halfway mark, they were still slightly behind the rate. And when I say behind the rate, I mean the run a ball rate. And on a normal wicket, I could understand you saying, Jarrod, that doesn't matter. On this wicket, every time that they needed more than a run a ball, I started to get nervous. Because I now feel I have PTSD from watching cricket on this wicket. And I just think that the batters are about to get out every time they try and play an attacking shot. But the real incredible thing was, after the drinks break, that Akshar Patel came on. And right up until that point, I thought there was an issue. Arshdeep wasn't bowling well. Hardik wasn't bowling well. Jadeja had bowled well when he'd ragged the ball sideways, but it meant that if Arshdeep and Hardik continued to struggle, they had to find more overs, probably out of Akshar, but maybe even out of Shivam Dubé. That's how bad the maths was getting at that point, if those other guys kept getting hit for 8 and 10 runs for some of their overs. But Akshar coming on and getting a wicket straight away changed things. And then that pitch just got a little bit more up and down. And we saw it once the ball got old and the lacquer came off, it just reacted different. You look at both of those innings, it is absolutely true. It wasn't easy to bat in the first 10 overs, but it was possible to bat. It was almost impossible to bat at times in the second innings. And once that ball started popping, you could just tell that it was going to get a lot tougher. And Hardik Pandya, to his credit, after not bowling well, started to bowl well. But then we get to the most important wicket, Bumrah versus Mohammad Rizwan. When he came on for that over, which they held him back with good restraint from Rohit Sharma, I thought he could have bowled earlier. And when they brought him on, I suddenly thought to myself, okay, Pakistan, I didn't think to myself I was on a Cricket 8. And then I said out loud on Cricket 8, I think they just need to knock him around in this over and just get the 5 or 6 singles and take that. And if they only get 3 singles, they get 3 singles. If they get 1 run, they take that. Instead, Mohammad Rizwan tries to slog sweep. It's not even fair. It wasn't even a proper slog sweep. He tries to slog the first ball he faces back from Jasprit Bumrah. And I originally thought it was a Jasprit Bumrah special, like a big off-cutter or like a ball that he manages to reverse swing. It faded in a little bit, don't get me wrong. But that was just pace and a terrible shot. Mohammad Rizwan could have taken that game really, really deep and put their team into a good position. Instead, he decided to try and hit Jasprit Bumrah out of the ground, and the only thing out of the ground was his stumps. What a change that was. From that point onwards, Pakistan just were not in this game. They were still ahead. Even with the wickets at the other end, they were still ahead. And then suddenly, they were behind in that game, and they never really brought it back. But what an excellent effort from Nazim Shah to try and hit. And when he hit that second last ball, I wanted it to be a 6, just because I wanted this game to go down to the fact that Pakistan needed a 6 to win. And he has inside out over cover, played a beautiful shot and gone within a metre and a half of either being caught by Virat Kohli or hitting that 6. Fantastic. Beautiful. Exactly what we wanted. Unfortunately, it just didn't quite deliver at the end. But what a comeback from India. Because it's all well and good for someone like me to go, this wicket is tricky. Your bowlers bowling with 119 on the board. They've given away some runs. There's been some drop catches. The fielding hasn't always been great. Not always stopping the singles. All these different things. And it's easy just to go, it's not our day. And they fought all the way through. And credit to Nazim for even getting it close, because India was so on top for a long period. But we do have to talk about this wicket. I mentioned it at the top. We've made a whole video about it on this channel. We've talked about the monster that ate New York cricket. If you have a T20 game and people are regularly being hit on the gloves from balls that they don't expect to be bouncing that high, if all the Indian batters seem to go out because the ball hits their stickers and therefore doesn't hit the part of the bat they're trying to hit, you have made a horrendous cricket wicket. They tried to make it better. They cut the outfield so we saw a few extra balls go for 4. That's a good plan. I like that. This was still not a suitable wicket for a World Cup. It has produced a great game. That's okay. Bad wickets can produce great games because of the entertainment value. That's fine. Too many people getting hit on the hands. Too many balls not bouncing the way they should have. Make it a wicket that favours bowlers. No one has any issue with that. Don't make it a wicket that has balls spitting up at people that can injure them. That is not acceptable. We should not be playing a World Cup on this pitch. Having said that, the last 2 games were really entertaining. So as long as no one gets hurt, I'm okay with it. But we've talked about India, and India have managed to give themselves some confidence in a game they could have lost. That's great. India can walk on. They handled the pressure. They'll be getting some good news and some good media from back home. Everything's great. What about Pakistan? They lost to the USA in a game that, let's be honest, the USA outplayed them pretty much all the way through. And even though Pakistan pulled themselves back in to get to a super over, the USA outplayed them again in the super over. Then they play India, and they are on top from the 10th over of the game to the 30th over of the game. They have that game completely where they want it, and they lose again. They have lost 2 games in a row, and we know what that means for a normal team. They're probably going home. Probably a coach is getting fired. Maybe the captain steps down. There's some talk, and then we kind of forget about it because we're going to have another World Cup in 4 minutes' time. At least that's what it feels like. But this is Pakistan. A, there'll be retirements and comebacks. B, there'll be coaches that will get fired and then not get fired and then get paid out and then not get paid out. But C, it's Pakistan. So the drama might happen if they go home. And then all of that will be talked about at the moment. The wrong coaches, the wrong selectors, the wrong management, the wrong players. Azam Khan will still be blamed for this loss even though he did not play. But see, this is Pakistan. Kudrat, Nizam, they could still win this. No other team could come back from here. No other team should come back from here. Pakistan should not have won that tournament because they should have lost to England in a game that was washed out and they ended up sharing the points. Champions Trophy 2017. I don't know if I've ever seen a team play a worse game at the start of the tournament and still win the trophy that Pakistan did. But this is Pakistan. This is Pakistan. And Kudrat Khan Nizam, they can do this. I don't know how. It's going to involve a seagull getting hit with a ball at one stage, or a fielder getting malaria between the time a ball gets skied in the air and it ends up in the hand. Maybe they'll somehow have cricket's first ever double play, or they will have 7 players timed out because they can't unlock a gate. I don't know. But Pakistan cannot start a tournament this bad without going on some kind of spirited run for no reason. But geez, they've made it tough on themselves this time. They are going to have to Kudrat Khan Nizam the hell out of the rest of this tournament, or they're gone. And after all those years and all those India-Pakistan games, but also all those other Pakistan games, there's one thing I've learned when covering this team. You never write Pakistan off, even when they are quite clearly writing themselves off again and again right in front of your face. This World Cup, you can catch us every single day over at Jarrod Kimber Live. It is like the videos here, except they come out quicker and I forget what I'm saying occasionally. We have sometimes up to 3 videos a day on that channel, but we usually just have our scoreboard and normal podcasts. But you know, sometimes when a game is good, I just gots to go live. So gorge yourself over at Jarrod Kimber Live on my, I don't know, liveness?